People love throwing terms and labels out for Sonic the Hedgehog and his many styles of storytelling or just games in general. One of the things I hear the most widely accepted and generally most liked iteration of the character is what some people like to dub Shonen Sonic. When they say Shonen Sonic, people's minds typically run over to the cutscene of Sonic Unleashed, you know, where he's zooming around, going supersonic, kicking ass, and then becoming a werehog, or, you know, just that whole game in general, with Black Knight and 06 as similar versions. The Shonen Sonic is usually perceived to be the most freed spirit Sonic has ever had, willing to put the main quest to a halt to help out some kid on the side of the road. This Sonic is pure-hearted, adventurous, and he never gives up. He's quite literally a shonen protagonist. So that begs the question, what would a shonen-type anime or manga look like for Sonic, and how would it work? What would the main story be? Characters, arcs, world, everything? And that's what we're here to discuss today. As a big fan of most Shonen Battle animes, One Piece, Dragon Ball, Black Clover, Jujutsu Kaisen, and many more, I think it'd be fun to go over what this hypothetical anime would look like from its animation style down to the world. And hey, if you like what you see, be sure to leave a like on the video and hit the subscribe button. We just hit 500 subscribers, and now we're shooting for the big 1K. Also, be sure to comment down below what you would like to see from a Sonic anime. I'd love to see your response. But without any further ado, let's talk about it. Now, before we can talk about what we want from a Sonic shonen anime, we have to define what is typically commonplace within shonen anime. To look for these things, we'll be looking at some of the most popular shonen series to pick and pull these pieces at what makes shonen shonen. First up,
Don't stop, we're in luck now. Don't stop, there's so much to be found. We can't find paradise. All we have to do is go, free your soul.
arguably one of the most influential and overall well-known anime of all time, Dragon Ball Z is the godfather of almost all Shonen Jump series to date, inspired series like One Piece, Naruto, My Hero Academia, and many, many more. Hell, there are even many debates sparked on whether Sonic copied from Dragon Ball itself, so it'll only make sense to start here. Dragon Ball, if anything, is known for its nuts-to-butts, off-the-wall action. While Dragon Ball has some great fights, those fights would mean absolutely nothing without some great emotional weight behind them. Whether it's Goku's anger towards Frieza after he just killed his best friend, or Gohan using one hand to disintegrate Cell after he just revived himself from Goku's sacrifice. Dragon Ball fights work because of context, and that kind of goes for almost everything really, but Dragon Ball does this to a T. I mean, if it hadn't, it wouldn't be very influential now, would it? What would you say is something from Dragon Ball that we could take and put in our own little Sonic anime melting pot? I think the best thing that we could take from Dragon Ball would be the themes of finding strength through loss. Every major, impactful Dragon Ball transformation or moment comes from someone losing something. Typically through the loss of a loved one, but it really doesn't have to be that way entirely. Sonic isn't really a very emotional character, so it doesn't make sense for Sonic to defeat an enemy after Amy fucking dies or something like that, but I mean, finding strength in the lowest times is, whether that be losing someone, losing a chili dog, losing a battle, hell, losing yourself. These characters should lose something very, very important for them, and find the strength to pull through in the same vein that Dragon Ball characters do. That strength could come in the form of a transformation, it could come in the form of a new ally, it could come in the form of a new outlook on how things should be done. No matter what form it takes, creating a reason for these characters to keep fighting would, keep viewers compelled to keep watching and rooting for these characters. But themes mean absolutely nothing without a good story to back it, and no shonen series has a better story than the one and only the highest selling manga series of all time and number 2 of all time in terms of comic/graphic novel sales, even surpassing Spider-Man and Batman. The one and only One Piece is only not a pioneer in its genre, it's just one of the greatest series of all time. Like, seriously, go watch it or read it, you won't regret it. Anyways, One Piece has an amazing story. The story of the young Monkey D. Luffy setting out with his crew to the Grand Line to look for the fabled One Piece laid out by the former King of the Pirates, Gold D. Roger. This series is packed full of fun, mystery, emotion, and best of all, adventure. And that's something I think a Sonic anime would excel at if they were to take something like that from One Piece. Sonic has an amazing, rich world full of many cultures, foods, landmarks, and many more that are waiting to be discovered. Nothing makes a story feel as grand as it does without a strong world, no pun intended. One Piece has some of the best world building ever seen, and Sonic could easily top it with its 30 long years of a built-up world with so many different locations and landmarks. South Island is home to Sonic 1, Soliana, like all of Sonic Unleashed. There's so much that Sonic can pick and choose from, there should be no excuse to have boring locations or a boring world. Sure, they could go for a few new locations, but, all that does is give the next series more to work with. And I guarantee you, besides the shit from Sonic Generations, Sonic fans would kill to see a return of more fan-favorite locations, but I don't know, that's just me. Another thing from One Piece that Sonic could take inspiration from is just the downright amazing creativity that lies within One Piece. One Piece fights, the One Piece world, the One Piece characters, they're all distinct, they're all unique to one another, and no one feels boring or uninterested. Everything in One Piece has a likable charm to it. Whether it be a funky cyborg man who has adjustable hair settings, or an entire island made out of frickin' candy, there's always something that somebody's going to like about One Piece, and that's all due to the originality and creativity of the series. If Sonic were to harness this key behind being interesting, we could actually have a both visually interesting and cleverly written show. Sonic is no stranger to having stylized graphics. Sonic Riders, Sonic Mania Adventures, you name it. Sonic has style, he has edge, and I think that would translate perfectly into his Having a stylized art style would be something to set this anime apart from the rest. We need something to draw the eye. I think something closer to Sonic Riders would work swimmingly for the anime. It's flashy, it's super appealing to look at, and the motions on the characters are bouncy and fluid. I seriously don't know why this style's never been used again. It's so good! I would talk about which anime studio I'd like to see the animation done, but, that's more of a really subjective kind of thing, so, that's up to you, put it in the comments or whatever. I mean, as long as it looks good, I'm totally fine. But I think the real question here is what the plot would look like. What connects all story arcs together is the main protagonist's goal by the end of the series. Whether it's to be Pirate King, to be the next Hokage, there has to be a long-term goal set early on by Sonic himself. It could be a dream of his, it could be a desire, like ridding the world of oppression or something like that. Just for simplicity's sake, I think we'll just make it the oppression thing. Sonic longs for a truly free world where everyone can express themselves and live their lives as free as he does. And, that's what he strives for throughout the entire series. I think that his motive and drive would be more than good enough to keep the viewer engaged throughout the runtime. With every shonen series as a direct rival contrasting the protagonist and having them push each other to their absolute limits, but in the end, they're good friends. I mean, yeah, you already know, it's Shadow. I mean, the rival characters, obviously. I consider Knuckles to be, the rival character, but it's clearly Shadow. I mean, he's a direct foil to Sonic. Moving on. Another big Shonen Jump trope is the big three of sorts. There's always a trio of characters that you automatically think of when you think of certain series, like Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, Deku, Bakugo, Todoroki, Goku, Vegeta, and Broly. Basically 3 characters that are almost considered mascots to the series in a way. My big 3 trio would be, Sonic, Shadow, and I would say Silver, but he's a time traveler, so it'd be a bit hard to incorporate him, so I guess we'll just throw in Knuckles or something. So, to round off this video, I would like to go through some of the basic plot of this hypothetical anime turned fanfiction with you all. I think I've seen enough anime to make this one feel familiar, yet unique in its own ways. So, just hear me out. Sonic the Hedgehog lives on South Island with his childhood friend Tails and his closeted fangirl Amy. Life on South Island is relatively separated from regular civilization, but they have everything they could ever ask for. Clean air, fresh water, lush pastures. Everything is a-okay until the madman Dr. Eggman shows up and completely screws the island over, enslaving the animals, polluting the water, basic Eggman stuff. His plan is to build himself an amusement park on top of Sonic's hometown, completely destroying it and everyone he cares about. Mostly everyone submits to Eggman and his control except for Sonic himself. Sonic is fed up with it and he breaks free from the control of the Doctor and fights him hard enough to drive him away and leave the island. But Eggman in the end got what he wanted, which was one of the mystical 7 Chaos Emeralds, gems that can turn thoughts into power. Sonic learns of the Chaos Emeralds and vows to go after Eggman and find the Chaos Emeralds before him so he can turn his thoughts of a free world with no oppression into a reality. Along his globe-trotting journey, he'll meet friends and foes alike, who follow the same goal as him. Knuckles, who's looking for the emeralds till we can restore the clan he lost to Eggman years ago. Shadow, who wants to kill Eggman for reasons unknown. Team Chaotix, who meet Sonic and are paid to look into the unknown mystery of Dr. Eggman, his history and backstory and all that. Eventually, Eggman manages to defeat Sonic and gather all 7 Chaos Emeralds and threatens the lives of his many friends, which spurs Sonic to take on his iconic super form to stop the evil Doctor and rid the world of oppression. What happens after that? I don't know, you can figure that out yourself. So, what did you guys think of my Sonic anime pitch? Did you like it? Yes, no, maybe so? What would you do differently? Let me know in the comments. I had a ton of fun making this video comparing Sonic and its likenesses to anime, and who knows, I might make a sequel in the future. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, whatnot. I got a lot more Sonic content coming on the way, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay fresh.
Don't stop, we're in love now. Don't stop.